Welcome to Front-End Web Development subject. In this video, we will learn about original DOM versus virtual DOM. DOM is an acronym for Document Object Model, which allows us to access and update the content on the web pages. Often, styling the document is also done using DOM. Basically, DOM is an abstraction of an HTML page structure, which looks something like this. Document is an object of a browser. Under the document, we have an HTML tree over here. So DOM helps us to take HTML elements and wrap them in a tree data structure, which allows us to traverse each HTML element and manipulate them. Manipulation, sometimes you can add up new elements to that. Sometimes you may delete elements from that. Sometimes you can update the elements. For example, the p tag over here, if it is rendering hello world, the content of it, I would like to change to hello KMIT. This also can be done using DOM. The inefficiency over here is if I need to update part of a DOM. That means when the DOM updates, it has to update that node as well as repaint the remaining part as well, which is a time taking process and cost effective. It is trying to do something like this. For example, I have a numbers array 1, 2, 3, 4. When we want to update one of the number, it creates a new array with a new updated value. For example, third content, third element, I would want that to be in 30. It is trying to create a new array. Do you see the difference here? For single element updation, it is trying to create a complete new array here. For a single update, it is trying to update the content as well as it is trying to repaint this part. Repaint is nothing but re-rendering, which is an inefficiency. Imagine every component or any single page application will have thousands of nodes. If part of a node changes, it has to update all other nodes in it, which is very, very expensive. So ideally, what we would do in an array is we would take index of that and we will try to update. This is what our React DOM, virtual DOM, is trying to do that. The remaining part is untouched, only the part which you would like to update that gets updated. So in actual DOM, in real DOM, what happens when a developer has to check constantly what are the nodes got updated, and it has to be updated along with the updates with the other nodes as well. So which is in slower. So we need to get over on it and introduce virtual DOM on it, which is something like this. Virtual DOM is a lightweight abstraction of an real DOM. Basically, you can think of it is a copy of a real DOM that can be updated without affecting the actual DOM at a moment. It has all the same properties of a real DOM except having ability to update directly on the real DOM. In fact, every update it creates new virtual DOM. So on the first load, How does it works means on the first floor, you might have noticed this many times. React DOM dot render will create the virtual DOM for us. Imagine there is a tree structure likewise. This is an original DOM which has an for something like an application over here. It has an multiple components here. Those multiple components can be on application specific. For example, navbar over here, profile and feeds, any likes or something likewise. For example, there are like one or two feeds in it, first feed and the second feed. If the user wanted to update the third feed here, what happens in a real DOM? It tries to update the complete with this part along with this part. It also updates the other one as well. It has to re-render, update in the sense it has to re-render the other components as well. This is in the real DOM. In a virtual DOM, whenever React DOM.render calls, it creates a copy of exactly the same thing where it also has app along with it. It has a nav, it has a profile, it has a feeds and likes as is. It also has first feed over here and also second feed over here. Now, what happens whenever user is trying to update the third feed here, it tries to check what are the observable patterns it has been noticed in any one of the component, like it can be a feed update or a key press or left click or any API response, all of them. It tries to notify with an props change. If a particular property of a particular node has changed, it changes only that part of it, or else only that part of it is got updated and the remaining part gets untouched. React compares virtual DOM and the real DOM and updates the real DOM later. That is taken care by React. Creating of virtual DOM is taken care by React DOM.render, and comparing virtual DOM and the DOM is taken care by the React. The process of updating, the process of comparing virtual DOM and the real DOM and updating the real DOM is called as reconciliation. And real DOM repaints our browser. Internally, this is what happening, please. For better understanding, let me head back to our VS Code. I have written a part of the code here where you'll be seeing here two divisions. There is a regular div, there is an React div. It's basically HTML divisions. I'm trying to update this regular division with an getting its element by ID and calling a function here. You see that regular div dot inner HTML regular date with an h1 tag and calling a JavaScript function called date object which returns the date and time of current time, right? Similarly to this reactive, I'm trying to get its by reactive and storing into a variable called React division, creating two components like a regular date here. I'm trying to create a component called React date with an h1 tag, and this new date I'm trying to create under a division for better understanding. Create React app, like create React element, uh, nesting that and calling the new date of a Java string, converting that into the string. And whatever the two components I have created here, I'm trying to render onto the DOM by using React DOM. This is what we already learned in the previous topics. right? Now look at our output. This is something like this. It is updating my timer. Let me show you the console part of that. One second. It's not showing up here. Give me a second. Let me go back to the other browser. Let's look into that. You will see the time has been updated here. There you go, please. See the elements. Now, like there is a React division here. There is a regular division here. You see that division is been blinking over here, right? If I expand my React division, like both the changes, regular division is updating my regular div. You see that why not my React div is not getting updated, though the time is getting updated here. This is because only the part which is trying to render this part gets updated, not the entire div. Look into that. Do you see that? Only that part of the division is getting updated instead of updating the entire division. That is a major difference between virtual DOM and the original DOM. Original DOM, if any changes occurs here, what is the change occurring here is an changing the time for every second. For every second, it is trying to update the complete division here. Whereas in the React division, only the part of that division is getting updated. I hope you see the difference now, the difference between real DOM and the virtual DOM. Now, whenever this is trying to update, it compares with an original division and updates according to that. You see that updating is happening only on that part. There. Now, to sum up, the major differences between real DOM or original DOM versus virtual DOM is real DOM is an abstraction of an HTML page, whereas virtual DOM is an abstraction of an HTML DOM. Real DOM can manipulate directly on the screen elements, whereas virtual DOM cannot do that. Any change in a real DOM updates the entire tree structure. Any change in a virtual DOM updates only that relevant node in the tree. Updating is slow and inefficient in real DOM. Updating is fast and efficient in virtual DOM because of its updating only a particular node. That is all for this video. See you in the next video.